I invite you to embark on a breathtaking journey to the ancient city of Petra, located in the southern part of Jordan, which can certainly be called one of the most magnificent and mysterious places on the planet. This city, carved into pink sandstone cliffs high in the mountains, is not only an outstanding example of architecture, but also a historical monument of global significance. Even today, it never ceases to amaze and delight with its mysterious architectural structures. Are you looking for unique impressions and unforgettable emotions? Then a trip to Petra is what you need. If you get a chance, take it to feel the spirit of antiquity and mystery in one of the most amazing places on Earth. Once upon a time, long ago, when there was no internet, I came across postcards with images of majestic structures carved into the rock. Back then, I had never dared to dream of seeing this place for real. In those days, the limit of dreams of an ordinary Soviet person was an organized tour to Bulgaria, or at best, to Yugoslavia. But times have changed and the mysterious ancient city of Petra, carved in pink sandstone rocks, appeared before me. Petra was the capital of the Nabatean kingdom, which existed for 7 centuries. At its height, the Nabatean Empire included regions of present-day Jordan, Israel, Egypt, Syria, and northwestern Saudi Arabia. It was an extremely advanced civilization with a developed social structure and written language. What we see today in Petra appeared here in the 1st century AD. The Romans entered this city in the 1st millennium AD. Yes, they entered the city by agreement with the local authority, because even the mighty Roman army could not take the city by force. So, the Nabatean kingdom willingly became part of the Roman Empire. The state of Nabateans became a Roman province and received the name Arabia Petrea. The Roman period was marked by the construction of architectural structures traditional for this culture. Over time, Petra began to lose its importance as a trading center. It was abandoned in the 2nd century AD amidst changing trade routes. Caravans came here less and less frequently and the population began to leave the city in search of work and a better life. And a series of powerful earthquakes forced the local population to leave the city in search of a safer place. The Nabatean state ceased to exist and became a rundown colony of the Byzantine Empire. Most of Petra's splendor was hidden by the sands of time, and the Bedouins who settled here kept outsiders away. Only in the early 19th century, a Swiss traveler and explorer cunningly penetrated here and became the first foreigner who rediscovered this corner of the earth. Petra is one of the new 7 wonders of the world, lost in the sandy canyons of Jordan. It amazes with its mystical appearance and majesty. In case anyone does not know of the ancient 7 wonders of the world, only the Egyptian pyramid of Cheops has reached us. Therefore, it was decided to name the modern new 7 wonders of the world, and Petra as a result of international voting in 2007 deservedly received this status. The closest town to the archaeological site of Petra is Wadi Musa, which means Valley of Moses. The town is located on the hills, so the best way to get around is by cab. There are many hotels, restaurants and cafes in the city. I recommend Petra Guests Hotel, which is located on a hill overlooking the city. The owner of the hotel, Mohammed, is a very friendly and good-natured person. Contact him even for trifles, he will always be happy to help you. Booklets and maps are available at the Petra Visitor Center. To save on visa fees, it is better to buy a Jordan pass in advance of your trip. This is the same Visa Plus ticket, which allows you to visit more than 40 attractions, including Petra, for free. This is more cost-effective than getting a visa and buying tickets to museums and iconic sites separately. However, please note that with Jordan Pass you need to stay in the country for at least 3 nights, otherwise you will have to pay a visa fee upon departure. 1 full day is enough to see the main sights of Petra. But it is better to set aside at least 2 days for this. Those who find it difficult to cover long distances on foot, walk up stairs and climb rocks can use horses, camels, donkeys, and carts. All of these are available for an additional fee. You can ride horses from the main entrance of Petra to the beginning of Sick Canyon. It's about 1 kilometer. At the entrance, the All Bedouins will tell you that this is included in the ticket price. Officially, it is. But the owner of the horse at the end of the ride will demand a tip and a lot, depending on the insolence and appetite. So do not fall for this trick. Remember that the Bedouins of Petra live at the expense of tourists, so their main task is to rob you culturally. A gravel road leads to the entrance of the canyon. Already here on the right and left you will see the first structures of the ancient city. By the way, in Petra excavated only 15% of the entire territory of the city, which is spread over 200 square kilometers. At the Sick Canyon, the main entrance to Petra, you will be met by Nabatean warriors. You can have your picture taken with them, not for free of course. The distance from the entrance of the canyon to the exit to El Hasne, Petra's calling card, is just over a kilometer. It is possible to use horses, carts or electric cars. The canyon itself, besides its uniqueness as a natural phenomenon, is an amazing engineering, hydraulic and fortification structure. The width of the canyon in some places is no more than 2 meters, so it was possible to protect the passage to the city by a small number of soldiers. The canyon is winding, there are no straight sections more than 20 meters long. In the walls in some places there are niches cut out at different heights. It is assumed that they could have housed guards and shooters, which made the canyon even more impregnable. The cliffs above the canyon are from 70 to 120 meters high, and in some places with a negative slope. This results in many places in the canyon never receiving sunlight. On the slopes, due to the different angle of incidence of sunlight, the walls during the day change their color. From black to light pink. At noon the canyon is illuminated with gold. Local legend connects the appearance of the gorge with the name of Moses. The prophet, leading the people of Israel out of Egypt in search of water, struck the rock with his staff. The staff had a twisted shape, and that is why the canyon got the shape it has now. The source of water gave life to this place. Finally, the canyon ends, and you can see the monumental structure known as Al-Khazna, or the treasure, the main symbol not only of Petra, but of the whole of Jordan, for which millions of tourists a year come here. A grandiose building carved into the rock and decorated with exquisite carvings and columns, is the first thing a traveler sees when leaving the Sick Canyon. The rock-cut facade, 40 meters high and 24 meters wide, makes a lasting impression. This structure is known to many thanks to the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It is amazing how people were able to build all this at the beginning of the first millennium AD. According to some versions, ancient craftsmen used ropes to climb down and carve this miracle into the rocks. What this structure was intended for is anyone's guess. Perhaps the treasures were really stored here. Or maybe it was a temple or tomb of the Nabatean kings. In favor of the second assumption is the fact that under the famous temple was found a tomb with the remains of at least 12 people and valuable artifacts, the age of which is estimated at 2,000 years. Nevertheless, for centuries the city has beckoned treasure hunters. They have probably heard legends about the untold riches that Egyptian pharaohs and later Mediterranean pirates kept in Petra. After all, it was hard to find a better place than a vault in the rock, hidden in the depths of a difficult-to-pass, but easily guarded canyon. Petra is indeed mentioned in ancient Egyptian chronicles. Probably, somewhere in them it was mentioned about the treasures of the pharaohs. El Khazneh is crowned by a huge urn made of stone, which supposedly held gold and precious stones, hence the name of the temple, translated from Arabic as treasury. There are bullet marks on the urn. Treasure seekers fired at it, hoping that gold coins and jewelry would fall down on them. For this purpose, one of the columns of the temple was destroyed, which was later restored. It is no longer possible to say with certainty whether anyone has found treasure in this city today. Today, however, the place attracts many more people from all over the planet. Usually the square in front of the treasury is crowded with tourists at any time of the year. But I was here in the late afternoon and on days when there was restless in neighboring Israel and the flow of tourists to Jordan was drastically reduced. Standing at Al Khazneh almost alone, I felt like the Swiss explorer and traveler who 2 centuries ago, posing as a Muslim pilgrim, managed to get here and rediscovered this place for the world. My peace was disturbed only by the camels sitting nearby. The ancient stone structure stood majestically above me, just as it had done millennia ago. The silence was broken by an enterprising local Bedouin. "Welcome, my friend. Would you like to ride a camel? There's a special price for you," he said with a smirk that said he'd been waiting just for me since 312 before the Common Era. But this is only the beginning of an extraordinary journey through an ancient city built by the hard-working architects of the ancient world, the Nabatean Arabs. To the right of the treasury, between 2 overhanging rocks, the road leads to street facades. Once here, you realize where the name comes from. Wherever you look, left, right, everywhere you see stunning facades of temples, royal palaces, and tombs hollowed out in the rocks. Each building is a work of art, reflecting the cultural heritage of the ancient people who once inhabited this region. And the sunlight creates a magical atmosphere, emphasizing the beauty of the pink sandstone from which these buildings are constructed. Strolling along the street of facades, where Bedouins entice you to buy souvenirs from them and offer you tea beforehand, you will see an amphitheater carved into the rock on your left. It was built by the Nabateans more than 2,000 years ago. The amphitheater was expanded under the Romans. On the right side of the valley overhangs a ridge, into the steep slope of which, cut into the most impressive tombs of Petra, collectively known as the Royal Tombs. It is interesting that at first Petra was considered one huge necropolis because of the incredible number of tombs. And only later scientists found out that it was still a well-developed city. According to some information, what we see today at the top is only a small part of the city's buildings. The main part of the city, including living quarters, is underground, at a depth of about 5 or 6 meters. There is a suggestion that the tombs we see today were built high up to be closer to the god. Only royalty and noble citizens could afford such tombs. And they probably lived upstairs, while the common people lived downstairs. Most likely, future excavations will reveal to the world many more interesting things from the history of this ancient city. There is also the tomb of a Roman warrior in Petra, which I decided to reach towards the end of the first day of my visit. I was the only one who thought of it, at least on that day. Along the way I encountered only camels and goats. But it was the absence of crowds of tourists and complete silence that allowed me to fully immerse myself in the past of this place and feel like an inhabitant of the most ancient city. In the next part we will walk along one of the most popular hiking trails in Petra. We will also walk along an ancient Roman road around which there were once magnificent villas and temples. We will climb a plateau high in the mountains, where not everyone can reach, and see a temple that is no less impressive than El Khazneh. We will learn how the inhabitants of Petra extracted and stored water, visit a family that still lives in a cave, attend a night show in front of the treasure house, when thousands of lanterns are lit to create a mysterious and fairy tale atmosphere, and finally travel by time machine and visit this amazing city of the ancient world in its heyday.